Hello and welcome, everybody, to a Potentially Playable Podcast, where we potentially will be staying on topic for the remainder of this episode. As of before, I am your host, Sam, and with me are my two co-hosts, Dan. Say hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
And Rob. Say hi, Rob.
Hiya.
So, how have you been, lads?
Can't complain. Just killing time until the next episode of this podcast, because it's the only worthwhile thing I do with my life.
Oh. Well, moving on from that, what about you, Rob? How have you been?
I'm good.
Alright, Rob, we're going to need to redo that, because that's just a block of audio.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It'll be grand. So, I think, to start off, because there's been plenty that's happened since our last recording, why don't we start off with the recent Pokemon news?
Yay.
Yay, Pokemon.
There was a Pokemon Direct just a few days ago, and they announced the new Gen 8 Pokemon game for the Switch.
Soccer!
Yes, it is very much
Pokemon Man United and Pokemon Liverpool. Here we go.
Oh my God.
Here we go. Fighting to become the top champion of the Premier League.
To clarify, the new Pokemon game is very centered on a British theme. It's very much the new region is very much like an industrial Britain style.
The map is literally the UK upside down.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't notice
if
that.
If you flip the map, it's just England upside down.
I love
Wow,
that.
that'd be lazy.
Yeah. It's almost like
Well, I mean, Kalos had an Eiffel Tower, for God's sake, so, you know.
Well, it was in France.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, they're not subtle about it. It's very obvious. So, yeah, there's been a lot of jokes going around about the theme, you know, with, like, showing characters with loads of subtitles of very British slang, or Celtic slang, or Scottish slang, because the rest of the world doesn't understand that the UK is multiple countries.
Yeah.
Specifically America. They don't seem to get the idea of accents.
Apologies
Not
to any
really.
American listeners, but you don't.
Howdy, y'all!
How dare you talk about my paw that way?
That's all you Americans sound like to us. That's a joke, by the way.
Yeah, we get it. You walk in here.
And also, I gotta say, as someone who was kind of starting to hit the point of, I think they're starting to run out of names for the games, I love the names of these new ones. The next ones are going to be called Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, which has also been the source of many great jokes. But jokes aside, I like the name. I
like
cool.
them, but ever since someone pointed out that if this was a leak 5 months ago, we passed it off as bad fan art, I've had to believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah. God damn it, you're right.
The logos are just like a generic wolf head on top of a sword or a shield.
I want to argue you, but I can't, because you're right.
And the fact that then, both symbols are basically the exact same wolf head, just flipped.
I'm hoping that there is going to be some kind of thematic reasoning to that, so that there is going to be some kind of, like, I don't know, the first thing that kind of came to mind as inspiration is in Nordic mythology, you have the legend of the two wolves that danced across the sky chasing the sun and the moon. So I thought, well, maybe they're going to do something along those lines, but maybe I'm overthinking it.
There was actually a leak a few weeks before this was announced that said the names would be Sword and Shield and it would be set in a British-style region.
Was there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Surprisingly. And he said that the Pokemon Sword version will have, like, an extension to your Pokemon that increases their attack, and the Shield will create armored Pokemon that give them better defense.
That's a cool sounding concept. I like the idea of that. If that does come to pass.
Hopefully.
So I was thinking that,
Give me
it was going to be some sort of I think most of the series now just has a one mascot big Pokemon that's the big thing for each game.
Oh yeah.
So I was wondering if, since this seems to be the same wolf's head on both symbols, is it just gonna be a multi-form legendary that has a sword form and a shield form?
Possibly.
That's possible.
Something like what they did with Deoxys.
Yeah.
I was thinking Aegislash.
I mean, how
He is a sword and shield.
Aegislash surely has to factor into this game in some way, shape, or form. I mean, seriously, Aegislash is a Pokemon that is literally a ghost possessing a sword and shield, and he's one of my absolute favorite Pokemon in the entire series. I love him.
See, I think the game is just going to have the one shared legendary, how that giant is carved into the ground. I know that's an actual landmark in Britain, but you could easily make that.
There's a picture of the actual landmark I've seen.
They've done version specific kind of things like that before. Like in Sun and Moon, there was a Pokemon that evolved into the main legendary of the game. but it only evolved into whichever one depending on what cartridge you evolved it on. So if you evolved it on Moon, it would become Lunala. If you evolved it on a Sun game, it would become Solgaleo. So there's no reason to think they couldn't do something similar again, where, when it's in... It could be the Pokemon, when it's in this version, it's this form. When it's in this version, it's this form.
Yeah.
Which would be interesting.
Yeah, they'll probably just do, Sword has better attack, Shield has better defense. Just, simple change like that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that would be perfectly fine.
I wonder if we're going to get new forms of older Pokemon, so, like how Sun and Moon had Alola forms. I wonder if they're going to have, any versions of this for Galar. I don't think they will. And, to be honest, I feel like... If you introduced it in Sun and Moon because it's the tropical region, okay, you can have it just be that centric. But if they introduce it in this game, people will expect it in everyone going forward.
Yeah,
that's true.
So don't waste new designs and type combinations you have on an old Pokemon and then only introduce 70 new ones.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Cause
and then there's also that whole Ultra Beast thing.
Ultra Beasts, I don't mind if that concept kind of dies away. There's
just another way to say this is a legendary.
It is. I will miss the form changes if they get rid of it, but I agree with you. I don't think they will. And I'll only miss it just because I really did love seeing old Pokemon come in new shapes and sizes. I mean, Alolan Vulpix is possibly my absolute favorite Pokemon now. I just absolutely loved its design. I loved its typing. I loved some of its unique attacks it got.
Yeah, there are some Pokemon that only really gain sort of popularity because of their Alolan forms, like Exeggutor.
Yeah.
I
Palm
fucking
Tree
love that
Exeggutor.
concept.
That was even in Pokemon Go.
Big
Even in Pokemon Go, when they had Alolan Exeggutors appearing, you could not see its head. You could only try and throw the Pokeball at its body because you couldn't see the rest of it. It was that tall. It was hilarious. It was absolutely brilliant. And of course, with the reveal of the new gen of Pokemon games, we got the new starters. So what do you think of the new starters? Because personally, I really like the look of them.
I don't know. I guess we'll start with Score Bunny.
Okay.
It's just a rabbit. And its name is just Score and Bunny. I can get it being... it just didn't... I don't know. It's when I saw the CG renders of them, I was like, they look a bit weird. All of their mouths look largely, really big.
I don't know, that didn't really bother me.
I liked them better when I saw the official artwork.
Fair enough.
I think... I generally gravitate towards the grass starters unless something stands out to me, so I might go with Grookey, even though I don't like that name. Alex Hirsch, the creator of Gravity Falls, put up on Twitter his alternate names to them. He said the rabbit should be called Hot Buns. and
Hotfoot.
Sobble should be called Sad Pole.
That's actually pretty good.
And I can't believe this hasn't been done for Pokemon yet. You said Grookey should be called Bamboon because it's a grass monkey.
Oh,
that's true.
Dan,
yeah.
that's actually really good.
Maybe they'll use that for an evolved form.
They may use that for the evolved form. I will admit, Score Bunny is probably the least interesting of the three.
He seems to be the most popular.
But
about to say, Score Bunny may seem like the most uninteresting, but it's also the one that's had the most fucking porn drawn of it upon its fucking reveal.
Okay, that is not what I was going to bring up.
I was going to bring it up.
I would have been perfectly fine not knowing that.
You are going to find out.
Of course.
Sam, just edit this part out.
No. The people must know!
No, they don't.
Nope, too late. It's staying in. Future Sam, keep this in.
Actually, something that someone pointed out when they were looking at Score Bunny. They said, if you take the official artwork of Chespin and mix it with the official artwork of Chimchar, it's just a mix of them. Because he has Chespin's arms, legs, and mouth.
I can kind of see that,
and he's in the exact same shape and body pose as Chimchar.
But here's the thing. Here's my thing with Score Bunny. And this may be nothing. But there's a rumor going around that its final evolution will be Fire Fairy. I would love to see that, because there's not been any Pokemon with that typing yet.
Because all the jokes are being made about their typing. All of them are going to be grass, water, fire, and fighting type. All of them.
No.
Because they're all sporty.
One of the first memes I saw was Score Bunny is secretly firefighting. I was like, no!
Now, you see, here's what I think. Now you see, here's what I think. Alright, we'll just cut... We'll cut out this, 20 seconds, and I'll just go here.
Yeah, thank you.
So here's what I think. I think if you're going to add a fairy type, do put it as one of the starters, because I was one that... I haven't played Sun and Moon, but the fairy type always seemed very underplayed to me. So if you make it a starter, it could go better than that. I think what they'll do is, since Sobble is like a chameleon and can turn invisible, they'll have him be Water Ghost. Then they'll have Score Bunny be fire ground, because he's a rabbit, and then you can make the grass one grass fighting. And I think those types all counteract each other. I'm not 100% sure. Well,
they don't necessarily have to, but,
yeah,
but there's a nice economy there.
I can fully see that when Grookey fully evolves, his little stick will be like a full-on cricket bat, and then I really just want to have a gorilla with a cricket bat.
That is a kind of cool idea.
Because they're all going to be sort of... Like, I can imagine, since it's based in the UK, and we've seen the stadiums, that they're probably going to be football-based. I mean, Score Bunny.
Yeah.
And, like I said, they'll probably have the stick turn into a cricket bat, and then Solo will just be water sports.
I was thinking, like, what if you made one of them based on polo, one on cricket, one on football, soccer, whatever. But I was also thinking, what if they had like certain roles in those games? Like, for some reason, Sobble evolving into a referee sort of thing kind of sprung to mind, because the referee gets abuse hurled at them all the time, so that's why Sobble always cries.
Oh, there's a great fan article made of if we're getting a British Pokemon, they better make this, and it was like a police helmet called Well, and then like a slightly bigger one called What's All, and then like a full police car called This Den.
Here's the thing, like, as funny as that seems, there's also several people on Twitter pointed out there's no reason to not do this based on several previous Pokemon.
There's a fish called Wishy Washy.
There's a fish
called
Wishy...
Clang, and Cling Clang.
The left key is a set of keys.
Well, no, for me...
he's great.
No, here's the most obvious. It's from Gen 1. Abra. Kadabra. Alakazam. So why not?
They get sued for that now. That's why you never see Kadabra in the card game.
Really?
Yeah, the magician who made that like his catchphrase basically was suing them. So to avoid that problem, they basically just gave every version of Abra that they make in the card game have like a super evolution to just go straight to Alakazam, so they don't have to print Kadabra cards.
That's the equivalent. That's the equivalent of when people got sued for singing "Happy Birthday."
I know.
Off.
It's fucking stupid, but that's what happens because people are pedantic little fucks.
No, it is, and copyright's stupid. I mean, just for anyone who's going to give out to me, I get why it's necessary, but it's often handled like shit, especially when it comes to games.
Yeah, and if
it's abused.
If I could plug something, I'm currently working on an article for headstuff.org of 10 things I'd like to see in Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield.
Oh,
and that'll hopefully be up at the same time this podcast is. If not, it'll be up like probably the next day.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I look forward to giving a read of that myself, because I'd be curious to see if any of our thoughts align on that. So I'll leave you to that article. I don't think we'll go through all of that here, because you want to save it for that.
No, that's the other worthwhile thing I do with my life. I can't have them overlap.
Can't cross the streams.
Don't cross the streams. Okay, I think that's probably most of the news as far as the Pokemon reveal goes. To stick on the topic of Nintendo, though, one of the big news recently was the head of Nintendo America, Reggie Fils-Aimé, is officially retiring.
His body is no longer ready.
It's ready for retirement.
It's ready for retirement.
He's 50. Let him rest.
I mean, most people don't get to retire till much later than that.
Yeah, I know, but he's a busy man.
He's got a fairly tidy nest egg at this point, I think.
I kind of like that's essentially how we retire. Just like, I don't need to work anymore, so I'm not going to.
Yeah. And in fairness, in an age where, when it comes to a lot of video game corporations and corporate heads, I tend to absolutely fucking despise them. I am going to be sad to see Reggie go. Yeah, he was always a very charming personality when it came to Nintendo.
Yeah, you really hit the nail on the head there. Like, every head of other gaming companies seemed like a corporate chill type. Reggie, you were kind of like, nah, he's a cool guy. Yeah. I'd invite him over to be like player 2 and something. And
hell yeah.
In a pit of snakes, he's a fucking teddy bear.
Exactly.
Yeah. Although, to bring some light to Sony for that, I do like the guy they have at E3 sometimes, solely for his name, is Assad Kizilbash.
Well, Sony is one of the other companies that in general aren't, as far as a lot of those companies are going, at least aren't, shit in the bed too badly. Most of their...
Oh, yeah.
They don't have anyone as recognizably friendly as someone like Reggie.
No.
But they don't have anyone as actively hated as the likes of Bobby Kotick of Activision.
You see, like, regardless of what Reggie announced, if he was on E3, people that cheer for him, they're just like, I'm not into this, but it's Reggie, it's okay.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
like the people at like that Xbox conference once they were like, you can play FIFA 18 right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Why would I want to?
You can
download the demo today. All right.
Okay.
Crickets in the background.
That makes sense.
But let's be fair though. While we'll be sad to see Reggie leave, the best thing about this news is the man who's taking over. His name is Doug Bowser. Bowser is taking over Nintendo America.
I like in his photo, he put up a photo on his Twitter saying thanks for your support of him holding a sign of Mario and Luigi are tied up in the background.
The game controller cord, yeah.
Oh,
I'm glad he's
so
like
on point.
I'm glad that they're so aware of it.
Yeah.
That they're just like, yeah, no, this is gonna work.
This is a game journalist heaven because now, like, headlines such as Bowser becomes president, localizes Mother 3 can actually be feasible
headlines.
headlines.
An actual thing.
The Photoshop artist is gonna have a field day.
Oh, there's already so much great art of Bowser in a suit, like running Nintendo, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
Bowser announces Kid Icarus for Switch. Like, yeah.
No, the best one.
These are great.
The best one I've seen is him with his secretary, who's drawn like Isabelle from Animal Crossing, because of course. And he says, "My first act as head of Nintendo America is to make it so that in Smash Bros, when I launch someone off the edge, they get knocked out first. Sir, you don't have the power to do that." Well, what's the point in being president then?
Not a bad Bowser.
But yeah, there's a lot of fun with that, and I think there's going to be a lot of fun to come. Based on everything I've seen of Doug Bowser, he seems like a cool guy as well.
He was the main guy in charge of the Switch's marketing.
Oh, well, no wonder he got the position.
He's only been with Nintendo since like 2015.
And
he's already the president of Nintendo America. So
yeah, because he's done real well for himself. If he's got anything to do with the Switch's marketing,
there could be an argument made that he is like the core reason that. Not the core reason, but one of the major reasons that Nintendo are successful today. Because
at least very much in the Western market.
He came into it in the midst of the Wii U failing, then just dragged it up to being on top of the mountain again.
Yeah.
Ripperoni when it comes to the Wii U.
Hey, I love my Pikmin 3 machine.
Here's the thing. I would have said the same thing about various other games, like, this is my machine for Bayonetta, or Smash, or Mario Kart. Thing is, all of those have been ported to the Switch now.
Pikmin hasn't.
Yeah,
is Pokémon on the Switch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's more characters as well, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. I only played Pokemon.
That's a good game.
I only ever played it a bit, but it is fun.
I only played it once, and I was like, okay, so we have, like, how many characters in it? Like 16? If even that?
Something like that.
Gengar is my favorite.
Like 12 or 16.
Yeah,
you have like 800 plus Pokemon, and you can only give us 16 for this roster, and 2 of them are Pikachu.
I know, but I get why. You're talking about something that's supposed to be a more in-depth, complicated fighting game.
I
get why they don't add
at
a million
least, at least they're not all fighting type, which people thought was going to happen.
No, they were really creative. Like, Chandelure is one of the fucking Pokemon you use. A Pokemon that is a haunted chandelier is a character in a fighting game, and he's great.
Yeah.
I played Suicune. That was another weird one they added in.
Yeah. Of all the legendaries.
I guess I just played Pokemon at a friend's house for like half an hour, and then I've already played as every fighter. And I've done most of the modes, and I've been playing for 40 minutes.
Yeah, I played it a bit at a cousin's, and I don't know, when I tend to play fighters like that, I don't just immediately try to go through every fighter. I pick a couple until I find one I'm remotely comfortable with, and I try using them again and again, because I want to see, if I can get any of the finer mechanics.
I normally do that as well. I guess I just didn't like the 3D fighting system, but I don't know, like I said, I only played once for like 40 minutes.
But you know what, that's fair. It's something that doesn't always suit everyone. Like, I think, personally in my case, I played Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi so much when I was younger, that I'm almost numb to the weirdness of 3D fighting games. That wasn't even a particularly good one, but I played it so goddamn much.
It wasn't even so much a fighter, it's just like a Dragon Ball simulator.
A little bit, yeah.
So many hours wasted.
A lot of hours wasted in that game.
But yeah, so to get back on topic potentially here, if Reggie trusts this guy, who's been with the company for only like 4 years, then I trust him too, because damn it, he must be good. Yeah,
Nintendo, I think, are in pretty safe hands for the moment. I don't think they're going to encounter too much trouble in the near future, at the very least.
They've been pretty good about cultivating trust.
Very good.
Yeah.
Something a lot of the other companies have... they've forgotten it.
I think that's a perfect segue into another bit of news we're going to talk about.
No.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about this.
Oh no.
And this is not brand new anymore. This happened a couple of weeks ago. But Activision-Blizzard reported that they had hit records in earning over the last fiscal year, and in response to this wonderful news, they fired 800 employees.
Fuck Activision.
Fuck Activision-Blizzard, because it's not just Activision, it's Activision-Blizzard, and I refuse to let that be forgotten. Blizzard are culpable in this now.
They've fucking merged completely now, and they've actually lost so much of the original talent and creativity of the workforce there. Like, most of them have jumped ship because the fucking work environment is terrible now.
Even some of the old veterans of Blizzard who were like majorly involved in some of the biggest games they ever made, like one of the head designers and creators of Diablo 2 has spoken up a lot about Blizzard and the atmosphere that they seem to have now, and that's just and to him he's talked a lot about how it very much was, we wanted to make the best game possible. We had an artistic vision and we wanted to deliver on it. That's gone.
They wanted to make games that they wanted to play. Now it's less that and more, we want you to make games that will sell more shit to the kids so that we can make more money.
We want them live services with the loot boxes that the kiddies are gonna love, but then we also want them to be released annually. A new one every year, and they gotta play all of them all the time. I have no idea what voice I was going for there, by the way.
The Activision.
Danny DeVito.
It's Danny DeVito talking about Activision.
The trash man. I'm gonna make all the games.
I go in
with all the microtransactions, and a season pass, and a deluxe edition, and all the other stuff.
I go into Activision and I make trash everywhere. Release at full price.
Oh God. Oh God, it's so fucking wrong right now.
It's just that was the epitome to me. And you know, considering in our previous episode we ended up ranting about nothing but EA, like I think this is borderline making EA look small potatoes. It disgusted me on such a core level.
Say what you will about EA, they kept their employees
until
they pay them.
Until they destroy studios. But you know what? Activision don't even have that excuse. And here's the thing: from sources I follow, such as some of the members of the Co-optional Podcast, especially Jenna Bain, who's really, really involved in a lot of esports scene and has a million Blizzard contacts. Mm-hmm. She's talked a lot about a lot of the people she personally knows who lost their jobs in this huge layoff, in this layoff spree, I suppose. Yeah. And it wasn't even a case of, we're just getting rid of, superfluous staff who aren't needed. It's like, no, these were people who had unique positions in the company, unique roles, which if they're getting rid of this person, that means they don't care about this aspect of it anymore. And you're talking a lot about community sort of, community managers and people involved a lot in that kind of aspect of the company. And it just shows they don't care anymore.
They don't care about community.
They don't care at all.
They don't care about, what is it? They only care so much about like competitive scenes in as much as how much money can we make off of this? How much can we make off of advertising, selling more shit? And like when Heroes of the Storm failed to meet whatever nebulous concept they had for a standard, they just shit canned it and then fucked an entire
with no warning.
Yeah, with an entire fucking community. Hundreds of players lost a potential career.
Yeah. Yeah, literally hundreds. With no fallback because they were given no warning about this.
Yeah.
And it's sad because as someone who, like, I've never been a die hard Blizzard fan. At least I don't think I'm willing to say I have been. But I always have had an admiration for a lot of their games. I mean, I played World of Warcraft a lot when I was in my teens. And as someone who my introduction to online multiplayer gaming was Call of Duty, and I stand by, I loved playing Call of Duty back in the day, but, I mean, it's not exactly the most inviting community. And then I went on to World of Warcraft, which, there's always going to be shitheads, but I go on to World of Warcraft with a friend of mine and his mum, because his mum played World of Warcraft.
Oh, yeah.
And it was so inviting. I'd go around, the cities, I'd just start messaging in the general chats about, like, does anyone know where this is, or how do I get this? And there'd be people just like, oh yeah, man, here, I'll show you, it's over here, or oh yeah, you just go get it there. There was even one time I remember World of Warcraft, and I could just imagine what someone would be like now, but I was desperate to, like, get some new weapons, and there was a dagger in the auction house I was dying for, but I hadn't even close to the amount of gold I needed. So I literally went up to a super high level player, because I was a pretty low level player at this time, went up to a super high level player, messaged them as like, alright, I don't know you, you don't know me, but you're really high level. Would you be willing to give me X amount of gold? And she just kind of kind of chuckles, like, why? And I explained why I was like, I admire your commitment and your forwardness, but you know what? You'd be better off just work for it. Work for it yourself. Grind a bit more. Here's some good. Here's some of the dungeons. Go to there. You'll push for getting some loot, and you'll have that gold in no time. I was like, all right. You know what? Thanks for the response. But that was it. You know, they could have told me to just fuck off. And you know what? They may have been right in telling me to just fuck off, but they didn't.
Fuck off, you noob. Fucking scrub. Kill yourself.
Yeah. And that's all I associate with things today, like Overwatch, which is the big one Blizzard keeps trying to push. And I, like, you know rightly well, Rob, with how much me and you have played Overwatch. I used to love Overwatch so much. Couldn't wait. When I was doing my finals, it was literally the game I'd come home and just, like, you know, to just cool off after a day of working on assignments and study, just blast some Overwatch for a couple of hours. That's just what I needed to wind down. Now, if I go into Overwatch, I'm just sad.
It's a screaming cesspool.
And after the news of how they've treated their employees, not only I did the same as you. I uninstalled it because I don't want to go back to it.
I've had no attachment to Blizzard. I generally don't think I've played any of their games beyond demos.
Yeah.
So they have nothing to fall back on for me. I'm just seeing this as a company that's very greedy.
And you're right. And you're absolutely right.
They're not. There's not even really Blizzard anymore.
No, that's why
it's Activision wearing a Blizzard mask.
But that's why I refuse to refer to either singularly most of the time. It's like, no, this is Activision-Blizzard now. There's actually a couple of podcasts I've listened to where they talked a lot about how podcasts and YouTubers who talked a lot about how you actually can see how Activision have slowly introduced some of their own practices to Blizzard, and it just seems like it was such a sharp moment of everyone realizing is like, oh my god, they've got their grips on them.
It's just like they're,
and it like because it was gradual,
digging their claws in slowly and just digging out whatever was fucking good.
Yeah,
and then just tossing it aside to fill up with more microtransactions.
And unlike the geniuses at Bungie, you know, the company that runs Destiny, unlike those geniuses who realized we need out of this and just left their publishing deal with Activision, which fair fucking play to them for doing that.
Yeah.
Blizzard do not have that luxury because Bungie had the advantage of, Activision, you don't own us. We're just in a publishing deal with you. You don't even own the rights to our game. We do, because we're smarter than that.
Yeah.
Because they, like, again, credit to Bungie, they were. When I heard about them leaving the deal, it's like, oh, well, Activision's going to be keeping Destiny, right? Nope!
Fuck no. But I think they also, I guess they kind of accepted that they didn't want to carry on with Destiny because it was technically, it didn't make them money.
Well, that's the thing. It wasn't doing well. It started off really strong and kept going down and down and down because the community kept getting mad at all the practices Activision were introducing. And, like, fair is fair. I don't know how much of the poorer business decisions that happened around Destiny 2 were to blame on Activision. Some were surely to blame on Bungie. There's surely some things they did which, you know, Activision has no guilt of.
I think it was like the expansions, they didn't exactly live up to the hype that some of them were building up.
No, but having said that, from the rumblings I've heard, Destiny 2 is in a better state than it's been in months.
Yeah.
Now, you know?
I think this is because, like, okay, Bungie can be blamed for the lackluster additions in some of the expansions, but I think those were lackluster because Activision was rushing them.
I agree. Considering when Destiny 1 came out, it was supposed to have like a 10-year plan.
Yeah.
And they were pumping out expansions. You're like, 10-year plan? You're going to run out of ideas before then.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened. So, yeah, it makes me sad to see the state that Blizzard is in, and I worry for the future of that company. I really do.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but at this stage, are they even okay still living, or is this better off dead?
I don't know. It's the same. It's kind of the same story a lot of people are asking about BioWare with a lot of the reception that Anthem has been getting.
Oh God!
Because that's not been pretty either.
That's been very mixed.
It has been very mixed, but the general consensus I've definitely heard is this is not a game that should have been made by BioWare.
I guess if they wanted to make a Destiny clone, they've done it a bit too well, maybe in some respects.
Yeah,
and Activision's Destiny at least.
Yeah, no,
but not a Bungie's Destiny.
No, you're right, because a lot of things I've heard have been like, this is clearly something that was trying to mimic Destiny 1, so it doesn't even have the fixes that Destiny 2 at least copped on to.
Even down to like the lore being off to the side in encyclopedias that you have to look up.
Exactly.
Why? It's like you don't... Okay, Dark Souls was kind of obtuse about how you would get to some of the lore, and maybe some of it wasn't even true. But it was in-game, and it was from exploration of like items and stuff,
and
just
fits...
kind of putting 2 and 2 together. This is just if you want the story, go to this website and just read like this fucking Bible.
Literally the best description of that I've heard was literally earlier today. I was listening to the Podquisition, and someone on it mentioned it's not, the story in this game is not a script, it's a reference page. And when he said that, I immediately had the image of like, it's like I'm reading a scientific paper, but I want to check I'm seeing a bunch of things I don't recognize, so I keep having to go to the references and read another paper. It's literally that equivalent, and that shouldn't be the case.
You're basically just being sent to the Wikipedia page.
Yeah. A story shouldn't be worked.
Yeah.
No, or at the very least, because I would argue in games like Dark Souls and Bloodborne that the story kind of is worked to some extent. But
that's more of a,
it's more...
you're figuring out and getting your own interpretation. I'm not just, here's how it is, but we're not going to tell you to look it up.
Yeah, it's genuine work. It's not busy work. There's intrigue, and here is the key thing that Anthem and games like it don't get. You need to give the player some investment before you start sending them off to places, because otherwise they don't care. In Bloodborne, I cared about learning about how the lore all fit together because I was invested in this world. I was invested in the characters. I wanted to know how everything fit together. In something like, I've played a bit of Destiny 1, and it was kind of fun, but I didn't give a shit about anything that was happening. At all.
Yeah.
And if Anthem's in that same state now, when there's games that are just doing it better, like Destiny 2, it's in trouble then.
It's just kind of funny how EA is basically copying word for word Activision's playbook, and then not realizing, everything that went wrong with this.
Exactly.
They just kind of figure, oh no, it'll be okay. We'll just do it, and it'll be less bad.
Less bad. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, just because you're less bad doesn't mean you're good, and doesn't mean anyone should give a shit.
Especially when they don't even have the initial trust that Activision, Bungie had at the start.
Bungie did have initial trust because they were hot off of Halo.
Yeah. Whereas this is very much Anthem is very much bogged down with EA's label being slapped on top of it.
Not only EA's label being slapped on top of it, if this was fresh off of the original Mass Effect trilogy or Dragon Age Inquisition, maybe there'd be more intrigue there. But it's fresh off of Mass Effect Andromeda, which people didn't like.
Even though it's a different creative team, but I get
it's under the same banner of the company.
Yeah,
it's the same. I'm sure it's not every single person who worked on Halo worked on Destiny, but they're under the Bungie banner. That's what mattered.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was trying to think, did some of the Bungie employees, did they splinter off? Kind of like...
Oh, I'm sure there probably was some.
Do you remember?
There probably was some, but I don't know the whole story about when Bungie went from Halo to Destiny. So I'm not going to pretend I did.
I think there was the original trilogy or quadrilogy of them.
The original...
They had the main team, and then they kind of had a B team do the other ones.
That was the original trilogy, and I think Halo ODST and Halo Wars were worked on by the B team, something like that.
Yeah. So I wonder, is it which team worked on Anthem?
Not
that any of those creatives were bad or anything. It's just, which one was the one that got the...
Here's what I'm willing to bet. It's been multiple teams, because Anthem has apparently been in development for 6 years. And knowing how EA has been managing Bioware, I can't see that have been the same team for 6 years. No way. No, right?
But here's a success story for EA. Apex Legends has been fucking amazing.
My God, that game has been doing so well.
I don't know.
Also, just to point out, last time I was saying Apex Venture. On the bus ride home, I then realized, oh God, no!
I mean, in fairness, none of us copped onto that. It was still pretty new at the time, so I was only hearing first rumblings of it then. Now I've actually tried it.
Right.
You got the Apex right.
Yeah. I know nothing about it. I just know that it's the big Fortnite killer now, apparently.
Well, I don't think it's
a Fortnite killer. Yeah. I think it's
just that's what everyone's calling it.
It's a decent competition because
yes, exactly.
I should say
Epic having to encourage people to play their game. So if they, I think it was there there was a promotion when Apex Legends was coming out that if you completed a certain amount of objectives in the previous Battle Pass, you could get the next Battle Pass free.
Yeah. Oh, no, it wasn't even in the previous Battle Pass. Fortnite were doing a promotion where just if you were playing, here, do these challenges, you'll get the next Battle Pass for free.
Yeah.
Which, I'll be honest, I think is a really nice little promotion to have.
Yeah, it is.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's a way to encourage players without being fucking snaky.
But I also like that it shows the healthy practices that can evolve out of competition. Like Apex Legends starts so Epic go at Fortnite. It's like, oh, well, let's give everyone another way to get into the Battle Pass. That'll help keep players. And you know what? It will. Yeah. It will help retain some players, and it also makes you look good. There's nothing wrong with that. And at the same token, you have Apex Legends. I almost said Venture as well now. You have Apex Legends, by and large, using, I think, perfectly fine business practices with their model. It's a free game. It's got some microtransactions. Yes, it has loot boxy style stuff, which I don't like, but it's at least going to be transparent about the odds of getting certain rarity items, which I appreciate. So, I'm not going to knock them too much for that.
I'm still not sure how much you have to play to unlock certain characters. 'Cause I don't think you're allowed to pay for them.
I've heard a lot, unfortunately. I have heard quite a lot.
I've seen more and more people playing Caustic, who's one of the unlockable characters, and Mirage?
Mirage is the other one, yeah.
Mirage is a popular one just because his
popular.
fucking hologram clone is really... Oh,
but here's the thing.
The amount of times I've been fucked over by that thing.
But here's the thing that was pointed out, and another thing I was listening to the other day. His ultimate's actually terrible.
Yeah.
Because Mirage's ultimate is he turns invisible and spawns a bunch of holograms of himself. The problem is the holograms don't actually attack you. They can't do any damage. They don't do animations that any player playing as Mirage can do, and Mirage doesn't turn completely invisible. You can see his outline. So it's a bit like... That's a bit crap.
Patch that.
Yeah, I think you need to add the holograms need to A, look like players, and B, let them do a bit of damage.
Yeah.
You don't have to have them be, oh, this will wipe out everyone. No, but have it be that it means someone can't go barreling in if they want to stay alive. Because it means it acts as both a deterrent, a distraction, and a way for you to get away. It fills it fills the category of being a pretty flexible alt.
There's also a slight problem with hitboxes in Apex Legends, apparently, because of the cast being various sizes, where the problem comes in that they all have the same health pool. So people who play what's the big guy's name? Big guy with the shield.
Oh, I can't think of his name, but I know who you're talking about.
He's Maui, isn't he?
Yeah, he's like Polynesian or something like that.
Yeah, he's a big he's a very big guy. He's meant to play as a tank, basically.
Absolute unit.
Yeah.
Bit of an absolute unit, yeah.
Problem is, you don't get extra armor by picking him. So he's just a big fat hitbox that will soak up shotgun blasts. Whereas if you play a character like Wraith, who is apparently the smallest character with the smallest hitbox, exact same health pool, and she's got like an escape ability to basically like go into a ghost mode.
When you have a hero class based shooter, you need to have a bit of a spectrum in terms of damage that can be dealt out and how much damage can be taken between each character, especially if they're built and designed very differently. Because otherwise you're going to have this problem of, everyone has the same health pool, but this guy's a much bigger target than this guy. Which, that is a problem.
Also, I fucking love Pathfinder.
You do love Pathfinder.
His grapple hook is great.
I've played a few rounds of Apex with you, and you almost exclusively use Pathfinder. I still haven't really found a character I'm 100% down with.
Once I got the unicorn skin for him, I was just like, yes.
What were the two characters I used the most? Bandolier, was that the girl? Was that the
Bandalore.
Bandalore, not Bandolier. Bandalore, who's like
the medic girl, wasn't it?
No. I didn't use the medic girl. It was the scout. Sniper guy.
Oh, Bloodhound.
There was one match I played as Bloodhound with randos, and the two guys I was playing with were like, hundreds of kills, hundreds of hours kind of things. And here's the thing, we were doing really well for a while, because these two were pretty alright, but they couldn't really agree on what way to go, so one of them eventually went off one way, one of them went to the other. The guy I ended up running off with stayed alive, the other guy got cornered and killed.
Yeah.
And we're hiding in a corner, and the guy's using the mic sometimes, and he's saying to me, "Man, keep down. Like, man, keep down. Stay back. Don't move." Because there was like guys up ahead, and I saw what he was talking about. Oh, okay, shit, yeah, I'll stay down. I won't do anything. Here's the thing: I was playing as Bloodhound. I didn't realize that when you use Bloodhound's Q ability, which he shoots out like a bit of a mini radar to see if anyone's nearby, I didn't realize enemy team could see that.
Oh.
So I did it, and the guy goes, "Fucking man!"
What the fuck?
And Q, I promptly die a few minutes later, and he doesn't. He proceeds to keep going, and I assume probably won the match because Jesus Christ, no one could put him down.
I remember. Do you remember that Punch Kid? You know, he's a YouTuber. He used to do a lot of Overwatch stuff. He started playing Apex Legends, and he started playing Pathfinder. Mm-hmm. And the shit he was doing with the grapple gun and just swinging around and punching people. It's like, how the fuck? Wait, how are you winning with just punching people?
I beg your pardon, you linked me that video. I remember it now. Yeah, that was ridiculous.
That's insane. I was like, I didn't know I could do that. What? I need to up my game.
Apex Legends is good crack, and I look forward to seeing what comes from it. I think we're going to take a little bit of a shift into something else we've said we'd potentially talk about and haven't to this point. Let's talk a bit about movies.
Woo. Yeah.
And I think we're going to start on a topic.
I can talk about this.
And I think we're going to start on a topic we all have strong opinions on, because since our last episode, they released the trailer for the live-action Aladdin remake.
Oh,
that's
preference.
Oh, that's hot.
That's hot. You know, say what you will. It's very nice of them to give a YouTuber that role.
Oh, God. Damn it. Son of a fuck. Oh, no. Fuck.
Just think about this for a second, actually. Imagine if PewDiePie's deal with Disney didn't go down. Imagine if PewDiePie was the genie.
Is it wrong for me to say I'd be more curious to see how... I'd be more interested?
Everyone would be more interested. Like,
I just want to. I would want to know, like, what the fuck would he do as a voice?
Now, I'm normally on board with this when people say, like, well, not really on board. Sometimes if a remake is made, it's like, it's not made for you, man. It's made for the kids. Like, no, it's not. What fucking child these days is like, Will Smith's my favorite actor? Like, no kid these days knows who Will Smith is or really likes him. And it's a remake of a film from our childhood, directed at us with stars from films that we watched. I'm allowed to criticize it.
Oh yeah, no.
For multiple reasons,
aside
from those,
they could just as easily re-release, make a touched-up version of the original Aladdin movie, put that on the cinema, sell fucking tickets, and introduce kids that way.
Here's one thing. You mean like what they did with The Lion King?
Yeah, exactly. But they fucking didn't.
If you have to remake the films because you want to get new merchandise and new stuff and all that,
and keep copyrights. I think some of it is to keep copyrights.
Just do it in 3D, like. You have all the princesses fucking 3D rendered in Wreck-It Ralph 2. Just use them.
I mean,
actually, that would genuinely be kind of cool.
Because then it'll fit in better with the stuff that you have going on now.
I mean, they kind of did that pretty much with The Lion King, and Jungle Book was mostly CG.
Oh,
I'm not saying to do it like live action.
I know, but it's just
animated.
Like it's funny that they call them the live action remakes.
Yeah,
when most of these are basically CG fests with maybe one or two actors.
One of my flatmates like refuses to let anyone say the live action Lion King. She's like, no, it's CGI Lion King.
If it was the live action Lion King, they'd be sued for what they would make those animals do.
I don't even get them remaking the Lion King because certain voice actors are returning. They're probably just going to do the exact same thing again. It's not even a new take. Say if they remade Goodfellas and it was the exact same cast.
Yeah.
What's the point?
In fairness, like it's in fairness, as far as I'm aware, at least in The Lion King, there's only one returning actor, if I'm remembering right, which is James Earl Jones as Mufasa. Which
is Jeremy Irons coming back? I thought he was.
No, I don't think he is. No,
it's expensive now.
No, it's a different actor playing Scar this time. Which, it concerns me a bit because it's hard for me to not think of Jeremy Irons when I think of Scar.
I'm so
rounded. Yeah, the Aladdin trailer was strange. I didn't really know what I thought of it. Because here's the thing. The first thing it does well, which a lot of these remakes have done well so far, because I've seen most of them so far. It looks beautiful. Like the design and style and color and some of the shots it puts out look fantastic. Oh, okay.
I can argue with this.
Okay.
I'm just going to really quick go through every bit I remember from the trailer.
Okay,
I can't appreciate the visuals because it's too fucking dark. I can't
That's
see anything.
true.
No, parts of it are like here's the thing. Like I'm talking more about when I had like these big overhead shots of Agrippa, especially.
That's some really nice looking sand in the dark.
No, but like there was one shot which it looks like it's going to be a shot from Aladdin coming into the city. Like it'll be from what's the song again? Prince Ali.
Prince Ali.
Yeah, and it looked beautiful. But having said that, yeah, there's some things that then look strange. For like the Cave of Wonders looks pathetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know people were like, when the first like picture of the genie came out, like, oh, I don't like that, make him blue, and then they made him blue. It's like, oh, I don't like this. It doesn't look. I get they're probably gonna have it be like, oh, he's the blue genie in that, but when he's in the town, he's like regular Will Smith. Like, okay,
it looks
that's
weird.
Do your
it looks
thing.
weird because that's not even Will Smith's body. It's just his face plastered onto an awkwardly
aside from
animated CG body.
Even aside from that, someone on Twitter did this. They said, like, do you know what the problem with it is? His face is too small. And then they re-uploaded an edited image where they made the face. They literally made the face like
they scaled it
2
wrong.
inches bigger, and they're like, now it looks grand. It's perfect.
No, that's it. Because there was something weirdly uncanny valley about him, and that's it. I could not put my finger on it.
The
but
face is too small for the head.
Yeah.
Now,
and
I admit I definitely have a bias here with this one because Aladdin is my favorite of the traditional like princess Disney movies. My favorite Disney film is Lilo and Stitch, but Aladdin is second.
You mean the one that's also getting remade at some
No,
point?
Stitch is gonna be terrifying. Or do you know
what?
Do you know my
wait,
biggest?
really?
They are. Yeah.
Apparently, live action Lilo and Stitch is on the docket as
They're
well.
remaking
Why?
In 2019 alone, there are going to be 4. There's Aladdin, The Lion King, Lady and the Tramp, and Dumbo.
Wait. What? Lady and the Tramp?
Lady and Tramp.
Where? Why?
It's a live-action remake going straight to the new streaming service. Because that's what people want. That's what'll get them to subscribe.
No, it won't. It'll make me just ignore your streaming service. You
Disney.
I have problems
Disney,
with all these.
you gotta stop.
I can rant for days about all these. But the thing with Aladdin is just...
Here's the thing.
Why?
I can't wait for
I'll
like
tell the biggest complaint I have with this. Alright, Jafar is kind of like a deadpan, but also fairly eccentric villain when he wants to be.
Ecstatic.
He sounds bored as fuck in this.
He does.
I don't know what actor they got, but when he's like in the original, when he's bringing the, he's like, "Bring me the lamp," but in here he's just like, "Bring me the lamp."
Yeah, you know, in the original, it's like, "Bring me the lamp."
It sounds like
he was playing up like this weird crotchety hermit, basically.
Yeah.
The rest of
giving you your reward.
Yeah, like
And
you know, grab the guy's like.
Eternal reward.
And here's something as well. Iago, the parrot, is he gonna talk?
Oh fuck!
Is he gonna talk in the live action version? It looks weird.
Is he going to be the actor they come back for a
Please.
reprisal?
No, look, no joke. If they bring back,
I am a parrot again.
No,
how are you?
No joke. If they bring back Gilbert Gottfried, I'll go see it just for that.
No, it'll look weird. Like in a cartoon, you can kind of get away with. All right, Iago can talk, and Abu the monkey can't.
Yeah.
That'd be a bit weird in live action because then everyone would just say, "Well, why can the parrot talk and the monkey can't?"
Yeah,
is it because like Jafar used magic?
But then if you,
I guess
you're right though, because if you look at the Cinderella remake, yeah, they just went, okay, we're just not going to have the animals talk. The animals don't talk in that movie,
and that has absolutely ruined what one's coming out now, which is Dumbo. Do you know why I'm not excited for Dumbo? The best character in Dumbo is Timothy Mouse.
I'm actually going to disagree with you on that one. I'm actually kind of intrigued by Dumbo because. The original Dumbo is not even by today's standards a feature-length movie. It's like 50 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm actually curious to see a more feature-length film, which is why I'm okay with a lot of the additions of the human characters.
Now,
are they going to have the racist crows?
I'm sure.
If they talk, please.
Oh, God.
Imagine if they're the crows, but they don't say anything. And how weird would it be to like today's audiences if Dumbo is just walking down the street and then he sees 4 crows and just goes, "Yeah." And then they just keep walking.
Oh god,
that'd be a bit weird.
Honestly, that would be kind of funny.
What if they tried to make like a live action remake, but make it a trilogy of the Black Cauldron?
Yes, I've been saying this
touch
for
on
months.
the Lord of the Rings sort of stuff.
No, I've been saying this for months. Remake the Black Cauldron. If you're gonna remake shit, remake shit. Remake your films that no one likes, so that they will like them again.
So I think the
logic, should we get a Chicken Little remake?
Oh, fuck.
If it's good,
but like. The thing is, the Black Cauldron would actually translate well into live action.
It's like, I'm joking a bit with Chicken Little, but I actually do think you're right. I think a Black Cauldron remake would be really interesting.
The Black Cauldron was built as like Disney's big epic and like this amazing fantasy story, and it was going to be. And then like they got a new head of CEO that forced them to cut out 12 minutes and all of the gore and all of the dark themes.
Well, that, and it was also in that awkward phase where Disney were trying to save a lot of money by being a lot cheaper in their animation.
that's what they did.
Yeah, trying to recycle.
They were cutting out a lot.
Can you imagine if Don Bluth had been in charge of the company when they made Black Cauldron?
That'd be incredible.
It probably would have been one of their best movies.
Yeah. See, like, I know I'm ranting a bit about
It's
Dumbo,
also...
but like,
No, that's fine.
but like, the thing with Dumbo is that they're changing enough where I'm like, okay, this isn't just a rehash like I think Aladdin is going to be. It's just like, here's another film about an elephant that can fly. And I'm like, do you know what? All right, cool.
Yeah, yes, I agree with you. I agree with you on that point, because like, this is one of the things I liked a lot about the Jungle Book remake. It actually made changes.
Yeah, see, like, I might say, like, oh, I don't like the fact that Timothy Mouse isn't in it because he's my favourite from the original, and they're replacing him with 2 kids and an adult, and I think they're just going to, like, take his character traits and put him in them, and I'm like, well, why not just use the mouse? But at the same time, like, if you're changing enough, and, like, that's just hyperbole, if you actually give the kids something to say and make Hugh Jackman a bit of a likeable guy, which is not hard.
Was it not Colin Farrell?
Oh, it's Colin Farrell, sorry. Yeah, so if you get Colin Farrell to be like a...
Hugh Jackman's greatest show.
Yeah, that's right. So if you get him to be like a likeable fella... And you've
and
Danny DeVito.
Yeah, Danny DeVito as the circus conductor. That's spot on, let's be fair now.
Yeah, and Dumbo's one of the few trailers for it where I just went, you know what? Might not be for me, but I can at least say, if I am dragged to that, I'll be like, yeah!
I think so too.
Could work.
I think so too. And it's weird just this weird range that they're getting with a lot of their live action remakes. Like, I know you just physically cringe up as soon as you hear the idea of a live action Lilo and Stitch. But before you do, I'm not immediately against the idea, because there's this beautiful fan art I've seen before, which is like this painting of Lilo and Stitch standing next to each other. And Lilo is painted like a little girl. She looks like a real little girl. But Stitch is just painted the same. He just looks a little bit fluffier because he's supposed to be real, not animated.
I like fluffy.
And it doesn't look wrong. It actually looks really good. If they were to replicate something like that, it may translate okay. But then you get into the whole problem, I'll still say, of you're remaking Lilo and Stitch. How are you going to change it up? Because frankly, like, I don't think I like Lilo and Stitch as much as you, but I don't know what I'd change about it.
Now, you see, here's my biggest fear with the Lilo and Stitch remake. Sure, I said Stitch is probably going to be hideous, but he might not be. Might not be. I have a feeling they're going to Ratchet and Clank it. Where, I mean, the big thing with Lilo and Stitch is once Stitch is adopted, like, he's an alien criminal trying to get out of there.
He's an alien mutant.
Alien mutant criminal trying to get out of there, and he's only using Lilo because the officers that are after him can't attack Lilo.
Yeah, they can't harm a human.
You can't harm someone from another planet.
Yeah. The Jumper literally says, using that little girl for a shield. This is low even for you!
We cannot be seen!
I guess if they approached the whole design of Stitch like the people who made Detective Pikachu.
Yeah,
Pikachu.
That'd be good.
Okay.
I don't want it to be like Stitch stays with Lilo because he's like, oh no, she's my friend now. Because like that's how it is. At least
not right off at the bat.
If at the start he's just like, oh, this girl's nice. She picked me out of a pound and she petted my head and feeds me stuff. Like, okay,
I could get used to this.
And then if they get rid, and then I'm also afraid that modern day Disney are gonna dumb down, or at least not dumb down, like at least play down the sisterhood between Lilo and Nani, which is why I love that film.
The risk of her being taken away by child
the risk of her being taken away by child
which was the best part of the
and the way
original
that
movie.
Like the parents dying is like put more stress on Nani now. Like Nani is 19.
Yeah. Think about that. Like, we're all in our 20s now. Think how horrifying that is.
Rob, imagine if 3 years ago all of your family except one sibling died and you were put in charge of them.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'd be 25, so...
Yeah, you also got this surfer dude where, you know, he's nice, but you can't take no.
I don't think this is as relatable. I don't think this is as relatable as...
his eyes.
I don't think
you know, Rob, you're sitting there, you're in your condo in Hawaii, and you just don't know what to do with yourself.
Hey, I would be a pretty Hawaiian girl. I think I could live with that. But, yeah, I think... The thing is, see, like, when you translate stuff like that into live action, you kind of lose some of the charm that the artist brought in with their designs.
Yeah, it was like, originally animated for a reason.
Yeah, like the guy who designed everything in that movie, like the stylistic part of it was like everything was kind of soft, rounded. It kind of drooped a bit. There was like a very much a weight to things.
Yeah, even...
And I think you're not going to get that sort of stuff with CG.
Yeah, I think one of the big problems is you think of some of the movies they started with. Like, they started doing these live-action remakes with Cinderella, Jungle Book. Let's start with those first two. You're talking about older movies there, where... Okay, Cinderella's not a particularly great example, because I know a lot of people have a lot of love for the animation in that movie. I know Disney himself said the transformation scene of the dress was his favorite bit of animation the company ever made. But look at something like Jungle Book. Jungle Book is probably one of the slightly simpler animated movies in terms of some of the older ones. Would you think I'm being fair on that?
Yeah, I can see that.
So, trying to readapt something like that in a new style, I don't see anything wrong with.
Yeah.
You then look at that they're starting to redo, and I'm one of the people who's generally kind of defensive almost of some of these live-action remakes, because I'm curious to see where they go.
Yeah,
but then they start remaking, like, Beauty and the Beast, the first animated movie to get a big Best Picture nomination. They start doing Lion King, one of the most famous animated movies ever made for its style, and the same goes for Aladdin and Lilo and Stitch.
Here's the worry with that.
Why?
With those, it's the same story, but they change like one or two things that just really wreck it. For me, in Jungle Book, I've said it to you before, but in the original Jungle Book, Bagheera the Panther says to Baloo, like, yeah, you got to get Mowgli to the man village because he will be safe there because there are humans that will protect him.
And Shere Khan wants to kill him.
Yeah, and the fucking tiger that's after him won't eat him there. And so Baloo tells us to him, he just says, hey, I know you're having fun with me here, but there's a tiger trying to kill you, and he won't kill you if you're over there. And Mowgli says, oh, well, shit, I better go over there then. But
no, he doesn't. He runs away.
He runs away at the start. Like he runs away for a bit, and then like he kind of comes to the reasoning of like, oh yeah, maybe, probably.
Yeah, it's a while since I've seen the animated one.
He sees the girl in the village, and he's like, oh, maybe he wants to show that.
Yeah.
And then
you pretty?
Yeah, so then he goes back to Baloo, and is kind of like, oh, so what will I do? Like, yeah, I probably should. I don't want to die.
Yeah, and then I know, and then in the live action one, Bagheera tells Baloo, you need to tell him to go to the man village. He's gonna die, and instead Baloo just tries to. It's the whole,
you're not my friend anymore.
Oh yeah, it's like, oh, we were never really friends. I was just using you. I don't want you. Just leave.
Yeah,
and so
then Mowgli runs away, and Baloo's like, yeah, he'll go to the man village. You don't know that.
I know he gets captured by King Louie.
Yeah,
I'm someone who really, really likes the Jungle Book remake, but you're right on that. That was a stupid change. It wasn't.
And then in Beauty and the Beast, the original Beauty and the Beast, here's Belle's mindset. She says, alright, so I'm trapped in this castle, and this beast is holding me hostage, but he's trying to be like, oh, here's some food, or come down for dinner. I'll run along with this so that I can get he can sort of grow some sort of, not affection towards me, but so that he'll like me enough that he won't kill me, or eat me, because as far as I know, he's just a beast. Whereas in the remake, it's like, the beast is like, here, Belle, here's this magical book that can teleport you anywhere in the world. Alright. Why didn't you use it to escape? You're like, because she constantly goes to the beach just being like, oh, why won't you let me out? I want to go back home to my father. And he's like, no, you're not. And she never thinks, well, I'm just going to use that magic teleporting book you gave me to just teleport home.
It's one of the problem is that they introduce some things without thinking about how it may affect other things. Because here's the thing, the magic book that he has that can take you anywhere, that actually leads to one of the best scenes in the remake that's not in the original. But they also still have the mirror in the remake, so it's like, why does he have both? Because the mirror lets him see anywhere, the book lets him go anywhere, and the idea is supposed to be, well, he's a horrible beast. He can go anywhere, but he'd be shunned, he'd be hunted, he'd be killed. Yeah. But you're right, there's no reason for Belle not to use it, and it's stupid that he has both. I think it might have been a better idea if they did something like, Sod the mirror, there's just the book.
Yeah, what was the scene with the book?
Remember, Belle asks to be taken to the home she was born in.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where she discovers the story of what happened to her mother, why her father's so touchy about...
That was a good scene.
That was a really, really good scene. But it does have this annoying layer over it of just, there's just so many contrivances to make this scene happen, which is a shame.
Yeah, and one thing that's kind of a detriment to these live-action remakes is the actors are generally good. Like, the kid that plays Mowgli in Jungle Book,
excellent.
He's really good.
He was really good.
And then, Luke Evans as Gaston was great.
He was great because he was also a different kind of Gaston.
Yes.
He wasn't the same as the animated movie.
And then I don't like how they just throw in like some odd thing to be like, oh, did you know Gaston's mate is the first openly gay character in a Disney film? Is he really? He just danced with a guy for like 1 second and he had a kind of a weird look on his face about it.
Such representation, guys.
Yeah, we went to see that with people who are of
we're
the
trying
LGBT.
to get those woke points.
No, like we went
also
to see...
like them doubling down on the whole feminism thing.
Yeah, no,
that
like we went to see that with people of the LGBTQ community, and they were just like, "Really? That was it?"
Yeah, especially because this was at the time where there was like stories of parents refusing to take their kid to the movie because they'd heard there's a gay character.
It was being
in it.
banned in other countries for this.
Yeah,
Russia, I guess.
Even like there was I think stories like 1 or 2 cinemas in southern US that were like, no, we're not going to show this.
Okay.
Yeah, it still made over $1 billion.
Oh yeah, like it's a Disney movie, of course it did.
Disney literally shits money.
Yeah, they do.
And controversial opinion, I think the version of Be Our Guest in the live action remake is better than the animated one.
I don't know.
I haven't locals.
I don't know. See, I don't remember the Be Our Guest in the new one very well. The ones I remember,
Ewan McGregor.
Oh yeah,
very nice singing.
Oh, well,
voice.
Ewan McGregor's a good actor and not a bad singer.
Wait, who is he again?
Obi-Wan.
Oh wait, no, is he?
Oh yeah. Oh, he was Lumiere.
Oh,
I thought you meant he was the actor.
that bit imbued to me.
I'm sorry.
How dare you!
Is anyone in here? General Kenobi. What are you doing here?
Well, I mean, he is part of Disney now, technically.
Yeah, like, how did you get here? The book. Oh.
Is this some Kingdom Hearts bullshit going on?
Yes.
That could happen.
Actually, I'm looking forward now to when the later Kingdom Hearts games incorporate the live-action versions of these fucking movies.
That'll be interesting.
It's like, Aladdin, what happened to you? What are you talking about? I've never seen you before.
Wait. If that happens, does that mean we can get Will Smith Genie meeting Robin Williams Genie?
No, because Robin
Well, I
Williams.
mean, you can't.
Can we just let me dream,
He
goddammit?
can meet Dan Castellaneta Genie.
Yeah, I was about to say, he could probably meet Dan Genie.
Why didn't they just get Dan Castellaneta to voice the Genie in the live-action remake?
Apparently they've got like fucking 30 hours of cut recordings of
They do.
Robin.
Because
Williams.
Robin.
So why not use some of that?
In fairness, a lot of that was him just rambling, and he cursed a fair bit in it. Like,
Well, no,
a lot of it was really
he
unusable.
did, but you're still like, let's say,
There's probably enough there.
Let's assume there's 30 hours of unused stuff. At least 27 hours of that is going to be unusable because he's going to have gotten raunchy in it. That means there's still 3 hours worth of usable content.
Yeah, but will it make sense when putting the story of
It's
just
Robin Williams. Who cares?
They can make the movie work.
I know. I'm being a bit
They
facetious.
could make the movie work around it if they really wanted to.
They could be doing it out of respect.
Well, I mean,
not...
I suppose, but yeah, there's also that whole thing of...
There's also that whole thing of they didn't respect his wishes when they first made the original movie, which is why he refused to do anything for
don't let him get
ages.
fucked over by Aladdin twice.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah. A lot of this is coming from just such a love and miss of Robin Williams that I just, anything with him in it again,
Yeah.
Just, oh god, why?
Yeah. Oh god, are they gonna turn a friend like me into a rap?
Oh no!
Well, I mean, they do have Will Smith. Maybe he'll reprise his singing career.
Oh.
Now, this is a story all about how.
In West Agrabah, born and raised.
There was already
Stealing bread is how I spend most of my days.
It's already been
chilling
a
out,
million
maxing,
jokes like
relaxing,
that.
all cool. That I wish to be a genie, and here I am.
You know what? I'm gonna move this onto something a little more cheerful. Still Disney though, because now I don't know if you've seen them, Rob. Me and Dan have seen at least a couple of them, but there was 3 new Pixar shorts released on YouTube.
I've seen one of them.
You've seen one of them. Dan's seen 3 of them. I've seen 2 of them.
Yeah,
so
basically to put it in context for people that don't know, Pixar have done this Pixar Sparks series where they're getting anyone in the company of Pixar. You can be an animator, you can be a writer, you can work in catering. If you have an idea for a film and you want it made for like a little short, here you go, because Pixar want to find their next like big directors, which I think is really good.
I think it's
cool.
brilliant.
That's a good way to do
I
it.
remember when they advertised it though, and they didn't mention until the very end of the video that you had to already work in Pixar.
Oh, that's a bit.
Why advertise it?
No, because they put out a thing.
It was probably put out.
They
to
put
the
it on their
company
YouTube
and
channel
then
to be like, "Oh, get ready for these shorts because like the next big animators are coming on," and you're like, "Oh, can I? Oh, I can't." The guy that mops the floor in Pixar can, but not me.
But not you.
Finally, my big chance.
Yeah. But they're
But there's 3 of them.
there's 3 of them. So Rob, if you've only seen one, which one have you seen? We'll go on that one first.
The one with the little stray cat.
Kitbull.
Kitbull.
Yeah,
was
this was the first one I've seen,
Kitbull.
and this is widely considered the best one.
Yeah, Kitbull was probably my
and
favorite.
Personally, I 100% agree. This is possibly my new favorite Pixar short.
Yeah.
I have never bawled my eyes out so hard at 8 minutes of animation. It was so good. I don't know how much I want to describe of it because, first I'm going to say, if you haven't seen this, it's on YouTube. It's free.
Yeah, they're all on.
Please
They're
go
all,
watch
They're
it.
all on YouTube, and they're all roughly 8 minutes long. Kitbull is essentially about a stray cat who befriends a dog.
More specifically, it's about, because I'll just to give the title context. It's the whole premise is a stray cat ends up living in the same space as a pit bull that's being trained for dog fights. That's all I'm gonna say on what this short is, the premise of this short, because I don't want to spoil it because it really is something I really think anyone should see.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say it's my favorite Pixar short because there are some of them I need to rewatch. My favorite at the moment is La Luna, which was the one before I think Brave. It's the one about the
sun. It's like the day and night.
No, that's that one's just called Night and Day. It's the one about the 3 janitors that clean up stairs on the moon.
Sorry, yeah, that was a very good.
I thought that was a beautiful short.
For me, my favorite,
the Red Umbrella is a very good one as well.
Red Umbrella is very good. Like I said, I don't know if Kitbull's my favorite. It might be my new favorite. Outside of Kitbull, my favorite is Jerry's Game. There's just something I find really, even though it's one of their oldest shorts at this point, there's something just I've always found so immensely charming about it that I can never get over. I just love watching that short.
I really like. I think it's called Paperman.
Oh, Paperman!
That's one of my sister's favorites. She adores that one.
That's just regular Disney, though.
It is just regular.
Okay.
But you know what? I adore the animation.
You know what? Disney and Pixar, in terms of which company made shorts, they intermingle so much
blurs
these days.
The
line's way too blurred. I'm not going to bother being picky.
I've been waiting years for them to make a full feature-length film of 3D models that looks like it's 2D animated.
Yeah, Paperman was very good.
Brilliant.
It's probably just too expensive to fucking process it all.
You are the most successful company in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care. You can do
it. But yeah, that's
it's easier to just make more princesses.
But yeah, that's the thoughts on Kitbull. I don't really want to say any more about it. If either of you two want to, like, anything else to add on Kitbull?
Since these are all like really. They're only 8 minutes long. There's not really much we can say without just spoiling it all.
No, so I'll leave it. I'll leave it for that one. We'll go on to the next one that at least 2 of us have seen, because the only other one I've seen is Pearl.
Yeah.
So Pearl, the premise is that you have a big company of guys in suits. It's even called, isn't it even called Broco or something like that?
The Bro Corporation.
The Bro Corporation.
BRO.
Yeah, BRO Corporation. So it's all about a person called Pearl starting to work at this company, and Pearl is a little pink ball of yarn, a little anthropomorphic pink ball of yarn, and about her trying to intermingle at her new job.
Yeah. So you can overhear like people just saying, "Oh, did you hear they hired a ball of yarn?"
Yeah,
Which at the start I was kind of like, actually, yeah, that is a bit weird.
How does it work?
If I got a new job, walking into an office, and they were just like, "Here's your business partner today," and it was just like a sticky note that just said like, "Let's get to work," and be like, "Oh, okay."
Here's our new finance director, Mr. Paperclip.
Mr. Paperclip.
Oh wow!
I see you're running a company.
Clippy's running up in the world.
I see you're running a company. Would you like some help with that?
The general premise of the whole short is the general theme is about sexism. It's about women in the workplace.
I figured as much.
Oh yeah.
Subtle.
Pearl has to
That's the thing. It's overall I like it. I think it's a little heavy-handed on
I think they went.
I think it's just they went for like something very simple and very obvious because of like the audience it's probably going to be presented.
That's true.
To.
That's fair.
Probably,
and the ending message of it and the ending idea of it is really sweet.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail because, like we keep saying, these are 8-minute shorts.
Subtlety is nice sometimes, but if you're just trying to get a message across, as long as you tell it well,
I think part of it,
you can like be a bit more blunt with your symbolism.
I think part of it is just that I watched this only the day after I'd watched Kitbull, and that's a short that has no dialogue whatsoever. It's purely about the emotions of 2 animals. Yeah. So I think it's just it's
hard to
it's hard to top that.
Yeah. I don't know how many.
And I don't think it's fair to necessarily directly compare them. They are very different types
I don't know
shorts.
how many more of these they're doing, but you have to know they're all made by different teams. They all have different animation styles.
It's it is very obvious they're made by different people because the styles are very drastically different.
And whenever they upload one on YouTube, they also upload a behind the scenes of it, an interview with the director.
Yes.
Which are pretty interesting.
They're very interesting.
Those sound like they'd be very interesting.
Check them out. I watched the one for Kipple and I really liked it. So what was the last short, Dan? Because I don't actually know what the last one is.
The last one was called Smash and Grab, I think it was called. It's basically it's about these two robots that work on a train shoveling what is essentially coal into the engines, and they eventually revolt against it once they notice that other robots aren't doing the same thing.
Right.
So it's kind of charming. They have the old, clearly older robot, and one of them is practically a child because he just keeps trying to hit coal into the engine like it's a basketball hoop, and it's charming enough. I do think it is the weakest of the three shorts, but mostly just because when I watched it, when it was over, my immediate thought was, yeah, that was a short film.
Is it weaker just in story or in visuals as well?
No, the visuals are nice, but it's not as colorful as the others. And then for me in animation,
they are both very colorful.
For me in animation, I really appreciate a lot of color, but I get you're doing two robots in one room and the odd outside bit. It's a cool looking world how trains can go directly at 90-degree angles up, and there's no humans or anything in the world, so it's worth checking out. But I do think it's the weakest one.
Yeah.
I think start with Kipple. That's the best one, and Pearl is also an entertaining watch.
From the sounds of it, Kipple seems like the most ambitious, just in terms of the visuals, on top of everything else.
It also had it by far what style was Smash and Grab animated in? Is it 3D animation like Pearl?
Yeah, it's 3D animation, but I think it's done in a different
software
style.
Oh no, I'm sure it's done in a different style, but Kipple by far had the most unique animation.
Yeah,
in fact, it goes for a very different style.
I think with Smash and Grab, the thing is, Kipple had that very nice emotional element over it, and ended with a nice lesson about friendship and trust. And then Pearl also had that whole thing of sexism in the workplace and treating people not based on who they are, but not based on what they look like or
just
what
interacting with people.
Yeah, just interact with someone and eventually you'll like them.
Yeah.
Not always, but still. But Smash and Grab didn't really have a moral besides, hey, don't be a dick.
Well,
equal rights for all workers.
No, it wasn't even really that.
No, you know what? I'm gonna be fair to it. I haven't seen Smash and Grab yet. I'll probably try and check it out.
I'm not saying it's bad.
No. I don't.
Not at all.
No, I don't think you are. If anything, I was gonna say, even if it's as simple as something like "Don't be a dick." You know what? There's too many people who need that message today.
That is true.
Yeah.
I hope the next Pixar short is
Especially
just
recently.
the next Pixar short's just about vaccinating your kids.
Oh,
Vaccinate your fucking kids.
oh dear.
Oh fuck.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Autism.
Let's not get into this.
No, we're not getting into this. To stay on the topic a bit of movies, I apologize if you're going to get a bit left out here, Rob, but since the last recording, me and Dan went to see Alita, Battle Angel.
I've seen bits and pieces. I haven't actually gone to watch the movie. I'm not really interested in seeing it, but
that's fair
I'd
enough.
be curious to see what...
Well, fuck you, Rob! Give him your money!
Yeah, that generally sums up our view. Alright, I'm going to start with myself. I went into this movie, just me, Dan, and a group of friends of ours. We decided we were going to go see a movie, so let's go see Alita.
And we should say that right before we left, someone was like, where are you just going? Are we going to go see Alita? Oh, it's garbage.
Oh yeah, one person we know was like, oh yeah, it's shit. And I'd seen kind of mixed opinions online. A lot of artists I follow online loved it, and I'm talking even big YouTubers just adored it. I went in. I decided
it looks pretty.
I'm going in with no expectations. I didn't even know this was based off a manga and OVA. I had no idea this was off a previous property. So I went in, watched it. I fucking loved it. I absolutely adored this movie. It's not perfect by any means. Are there problems? Sure. Do I care? Fuck no.
For me, my thing going in was, I've heard this is just very entertaining, the story is kind of weak, and the writing could be a bit better. Which I kind of agree. The story itself was a bit hard.
That's not necessarily wrong.
It was a bit rough to follow at points.
Does it feel like a passion project?
Yes.
Because, it basically is. Because I know the guy...
Cameron has wanted to make an Alita movie for years.
James Cameron bought the rights in 1995 or 1998.
And
then he got boiled down, and eventually Robert Rodriguez was kind of like, yeah, so
Fuck it, do it.
No, he
Make
was like, when are you making that? And then James Cameron was like,
I'm not.
Do you know what? I'm probably not going to get to it. I'm making like 4 Avatar films. You make it.
No, I'm not getting on the subject of his Avatar sequels. No, sticking to Alita, because this movie's amazing. Yeah, it very much feels like a passion project. There's
entertaining
so
as fuck.
much done right in this movie.
The special effects are
The
incredible.
effects are fantastic.
The-
I'm going to start with this, because I know one complaint some people who don't like it is they just couldn't get over Alita's design. Because she has the big CGIs.
I mean, it's
Personally-
to keep in line with the design from the manga.
Well, some people have argued it's like, oh, it's big eyes because it's the manga. I was like, well, why doesn't everyone else have it? I will say, in the movie, they give some background for why she looks like that and no one else does.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, for me personally, I thought it was cute. It didn't bother
Honestly-
me
It's
whatsoever.
meant to add a
And it
bit
made
more
her-
innocence to her.
It
Honestly-
does, and it also did make her look very distinctive. You never lost her in a crowd,
The
even
way-
when she's in just a swarm of machines.
Like, I get that, like, part of her design. She's meant to be, like, a more innocent compared to all the other battle robots that
Yeah.
are running
No,
around
as-
that look kind of monstrous, honestly.
Oh, some of it, yeah.
As Cameron Rodriguez said, Cameron was always saying he wanted to make a realistic anime eyes in a live action adaptation of something, just because he thought it'd look cool. And Robert Rodriguez was saying that if your eyes are the window to the soul and bring out your emotions, the bigger the eyes, the more emotion we can show. Which
is
in
true,
fairness, during
honestly.
during the emotional scenes, you know, you can feel it better because
It works.
there's
It does
more,
work in
there's
this
more
movie.
emotion in her eyes.
It's why cartoons have bigger eyes usually,
Yeah.
because it as like because of our brains we're more endeared towards it.
Exactly.
It's also why like smaller animals have bigger eyes
I-
because they're meant to look cuter so that we aren't like gonna attack them.
And I'm one of those people that when
It's
I saw
psychology.
I'm one of those people that when I saw the trailer, I was like, "Whoa, those are some weird looking eyes there."
It was
But then
weird when I
watched
first saw it.
within like 2 minutes of
You're
the
used to
film,
it.
I was like,
Oh,
"Yeah,
you
it's cool."
acclimate to it because like, oh, you know, this is normal.
Yeah, because I have a friend who like he loves, like, I can tell this is going to be his type of film because it has everything he ever likes in any film. But he said, "No, the eyes are a bit creepy. I'm not going to go see it."
No, you're
And
missing out.
I've been saying to
So
him,
just,
like, you're genuinely missing out. If you don't see it in cinemas, I'm going to march down your house and put it on when it's on DVD.
Just a quick question. I know
Sure.
like there's a lot of high speed kind of battle scenes with
Yes.
like the robots.
Yes.
Yeah.
It never boils like it never goes as far as like Michael Bay
No,
Transformer
no,
scenes
no,
where he's like,
no,
I don't
no.
know what the fuck's going on.
No, not at all. In
Okay.
fact, the action scenes in this movie are fucking phenomenal. It's
Yeah.
a perfect example of, okay, I know a few critics I follow often don't like when everything's a big CG fest in animation
Yeah.
because they don't feel it has any weight. For me, that's not necessarily
That's
true.
just
There are
laziness on the
Oh,
part of like,
sure.
the
Like there
producers.
are some productions do it very well. I'd argue J.J. Abrams does it very well in the newer Star Trek movies. I always felt like the Enterprise had wonderful weight to it. I think the same in a lot of the new Star Wars movies. And Alita nails that. Despite a lot of the action being, you know, CGI cyborg versus CGI cyborg, when those things fucking hit each other, it reverberates through your fucking skull.
Yeah.
We didn't even see this in Max.
Yeah, for this being
Alright.
like a fully CGI fight, in the CGI movie, normally if someone hits someone, you're like, oh look, they hit him. But in this, you're like, oh, I felt that.
I was like, oof.
The amount of I was saying next to Sam in this, and the amount of times going, I
was just, ooh. I'm very vocal in cinema.
This
I don't
sounds
even
like
think-
when we went to go see Broly.
It was very much a similar reaction to when we went to see Broly. No joke. Especially because one of the things I also loved about this movie, which is a pro and a con, because I've heard some reviewers, especially people who know the original material, are like, it's a shame this isn't a higher age rating, like a 15s or an 18s. Because
it may as well be.
Yeah,
cool.
because
May as well be.
but
Those
if
two
I
kids had no
remember
reason being in that cinema.
But there's the thing. This is a 12s movie, and it pushes that boundary more than any movie
Right,
I've
but
seen
it-
in fucking years.
Within the first 25 minutes, me and Sam just went, oh fuck!
Yeah, it's like, oh!
From what I've seen of clips of like the OVA, it gets fairly fucking bloody.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It
Because
does
like
too.
this is back in like
they just changed the colour of the blood
early
as well.
90s.
This is
I
early
think.
90s, 80s.
Like
OVA.
animations.
No, the OVAs are early 90s, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like that was kind of the period where everyone was like, we're gonna like animate the fuck out of this and put all the gore we can because fuck it.
Fuck yeah. Now, a lot of the action they do get away with is because, you know, it's cyborgs. All the cyborgs have blue blood in this.
Yeah.
So that's a big reason. But even then, they
you
get
still
away with
feel it.
Even then,
I mean,
it's some
still a vaguely human-shaped thing.
Look,
A,
when it
it's very bloody. And also, there are some humans that get fucked up in this movie.
Look, when Alita kicks a robot's head so hard against the wall that she indents it.
Yeah,
You feel
one
it.
of the earliest kills is she
Okay.
literally runs up. I can't remember. Was it she kicks or punches?
Kicks.
Yeah, kicks a cyborg that's pinned up against the wall so hard, her head just indents, and it's like, oh, she dead. Oh, she dead.
Oh, she did.
It'd be even more fucked up if she just kind of peeled herself off the wall. It's like,
I mean, it kind of
Give me your
does. No,
best shot.
no. What happens is her
Oh, no.
fucking body slides off, and the head stays indented in the wall.
And when we're talking about fight scenes, and Sam, what's that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that, Sam? Did you hear this, Sam? You're gonna need to add in a siren effect over this. I'm sorry. Did you hear that, Sam? Do you know what that is, Sam?
What's that?
It's the big lad alert.
It's the big lad. It's the absolute unit
There
of
was-
this movie.
This unit was fucking massive. My God, he was great. Basically,
is this the guy who had like the chain things
No.
that fly off his arm?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, him.
Because
I saw clips of him.
here's the thing
Yeah.
about him.
See, this character is not in the manga. He's from the OVA.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
OVA I should say is a mix of the manga and the movie is a mix of the OVA.
Yes,
and
it's
the manga.
it,
They took from both
it takes
sources.
elements from
Yeah.
it once again, which again to a lot of delight from a lot of fans I've listened to. They're glad that they didn't just directly try to capture one. It's like, no, we're going to take elements we
Yeah.
like from both and kind of again
Because,
make
like,
it its own thing.
The one of the female villains in it is only in the OVA.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
not even as big a character in the OVA. is
Not
she?
really, no.
No.
But but the big lad, right? So the
Big lad's awesome.
The big.
It's like he's one of the main antagonists of the movie who's constantly trying to kill Alita through the whole movie.
Yeah, right.
And
I'm
getting beaten and getting upgraded and coming
Yeah,
back.
to sell this character to you in one sentence, it's an absolute unit who that whenever he loses a fight goes to a shop and makes himself bigger.
Yeah, he's an absolute unit who becomes a more absoluter unit.
So it was, give me your bigger gun. But that's the biggest. Give me.
Not even that.
not even
bigger
guns, 'cause
gun.
Literally
Here's
just
the
take
thing.
my head off this body and put it on a bigger one.
And this is a great way they get around being
I like
so
that.
creative with the action. Guns don't exist in this world.
So it's all
in
blades
the
and
in the lower city. Guns are completely illegal. Like the only things that have guns are these big super tanks, which are controlled in the
Ooh.
floating city.
My-
Of course.
personally,
So no one else, even criminals, don't have guns.
one of my favorite weapons.
That's why they get so creative with the
Oh, yeah.
fucking cyborgs.
One of my favorite weapons was a scythe, like a Reaper scythe that had a rocket thruster on the
No,
back.
it wasn't it was more like a big. Imagine those great big bullets that old tanks had. Imagine that with a jetpack on the end of a stick.
To me, it looked like a scythe.
I'd say it's more like a giant pickaxe with a huge jet engine on it to make the swings
Alright.
even more powerful. Because this is a weapon used by a guy who's not a cyborg, but hunts cyborgs.
Nice.
Fucking sweet.
Now-
Which, by the way, that's another great thing in this movie. The cast, by and large, because there's some slight dead weight,
Yeah.
but by and large, the cast is fantastic.
The girl that plays Alita
Is excellent.
is excellent. The big lad.
It's
Excellent.
Excellent.
It sounds
Christoph
like this,
Waltz. Fucking superb. I love
Oh,
that
yeah.
man so much.
I've heard from people that have been Alita fans for years say you could not have created a photorealistic person to look more like this character.
I've heard
than
this.
Christoph
I've heard the
Waltz.
exact same thing. He plays a character called Dr. Ido, and everyone is saying like you could not have genetically bred a human being who looks more like Ido. In the
Someone was literally like, if he grows like a bit of a beard, it's like shot for shot the same guy.
Shame they didn't, because Christoph Waltz can grow a fantastic beard.
I think he did, but not like a huge.
It sounds like this translates a lot better to the screen than Ghost in the Shell.
I
did.
didn't see
I saw-
Ghost in the Shell,
Now-
but from everything I've heard, this is by far the best anime adaptation ever made as far as Hollywood goes.
I have never seen the original Ghost in the Shell, but I saw the remake with Scarlett Johansson, and even I could tell that it was really dumbed down.
Also, the ending was stupid.
Yeah. Because as soon as I saw that film, when I went home, I just said, you know, I'm going to look up how the original ended and how it dealt with this. And just from reading a Wikipedia article, I was like, yep, that's better.
Yeah, exactly. So what else? Who else in the cast was really on point? The villain who's not the big lad, although big lad was great. The big lad. the kind of the next tier up villain played by, and I'm gonna butcher his name because I never know how to pronounce it. Mahershala Ali.
Mahershala Ali, something?
Mahershala Ali. Yeah, he's awesome. Because
I think his character didn't have enough to do.
Maybe,
personally.
but he acted more like a presence, and I think he fulfilled that
I like
really,
that.
really well.
So he's the man in the shadows, basically?
A little. He's the man in the shadows who's also kind of the communicator for the man even more in the shadows.
Like the main villain of the Alitaverse basically is like puppeteering him.
Yeah,
like he
literally, he literally takes over. His eyes go this really intense blue, and that means that Nova, that's the name of the big villain, has temporarily taken him over.
And
to
you know he's a
speak
big
through
deal.
him.
The big lad is afraid of him.
Yeah,
lad.
everyone's scared of Nova. You don't fuck with Nova.
Yeah.
It's actually one of my favorite.
Is he established in the movie, or is it kind of like is it sort of a sequel?
He's
yes and
it's
no.
sequelited at the end because you see him
You actually
in person
see
at the
him
end,
at
but
the
like
end.
he's mentioned enough throughout the
Oh
film.
yeah, like he's not. Oh, like it's explained like Nova is the big. This is the man in charge of everything.
Like you're like the first two or three times his name is mentioned, you're like, oh, so this guy must be important. And then the more he's mentioned, like, oh, he's not a very nice man.
He's real important.
I bet he's a big.
this man, and you get fucked.
Yeah, like, oh, I bet he's a really big lad, and then he's not. He's just a normal man.
It's the Vegeta effect.
I should say the reason I keep doing the big lad absolute unit thing is because when we saw this in the cinema, as soon as he appeared on screen, someone went, "Oh, that's a big lad," and then Sam just goes, "An absolute unit."
That's like a big thing in anime as well, and kind of cartoons as well nowadays, where like they'll establish the powerful character as like the big guy, the huge guy, the one who just looks like he fucking bench presses mountains.
And they did that so well in this one.
And then usually he will then be afraid of the small guy because there's like, how the fuck are you afraid of him? He's tiny. He's like, no, he looks tiny. He's fucking terrifying.
But that's actually what really works well here is, you know, he's scared of Nova because literally he'll just take over his mind on a whim to speak through him for a moment. It's like, yeah, I'd be scared of someone who could do that too.
Yeah.
Stop hitting yourself. Oh, stop hitting yourself. Oh.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing.
With his big lad arms that it hurt.
It's actually one of my favorite lines is when Ali's character is taken over for a moment to be spoken through, and then he's released, and he just goes over to this thing, starts washing his face, and go, oh, I hate when he does that.
I wonder what that must be like, just having someone forcefully get in your head, and you have to then take a back seat. And just sort of like, okay, I guess I'm just an audience now. Okay.
Did you ever see Get Out?
I haven't, so...
But I've heard that's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's more terrifying on a, like...
Psychological
level,
Oh,
yeah. I can't handle horror movies, but I've seen that like 3 times.
Yeah, I want to see it at some point. My sister really liked it.
I mean, it's like it's a different kind of horror, not the usual schlock horror.
Yeah.
But just to take it back to Alita again for a second.
When people say that the writing is bad, it's
not.
not. I think the story could have been like,
it's
not hand-holdy, but more like you're.
I assume it's different than what they're used to because again, it's from the source material.
There were points where I was like, "What's her goal?"
That's one of the and here's the problem. Here's the source of that. It's that they try and fit a lot in this movie that covers a lot of volumes of the manga. Yeah. So it means you hit points where you just get some slight pacing issues. Yeah. There's apparently like a 3-minute scene. I don't know which one. There's a 3-minute scene which is apparently a whole volume in the manga.
Really?
So you can understand, it's like, okay, I can see how this would have affected some parts of it in that
may
way.
have been the motive.
And even, one of my complaints initially was that I thought the movie was a bit cliche at points, but I had to remind myself this is based on source material from the 80s. It's kind of the same way of when I watched JoJo Part 1, and I went, God, this is cliche as hell.
See,
like, I have to remind myself, it's like, this kind of created a lot of those cliches.
See, I don't mind.
Is Alita kind of, is it sort of the Pinocchio archetype? Where like, artificial person who's just kind of trying to be like live like a normal person.
Yes and, yes and no.
Yes and no, because
she's not a robot, she's a cyborg. She is a person.
Yeah. In this world, like there's no like segregation between people and robots.
No. No, it's like
there's one. I
think most of the populace are cyborgs.
There's one racist asshole who's kind of just like, you can't like her, she's a robot, and then everyone's like, dude, shut up.
Yeah, but
everyone's like, dude, shut up.
Literally, everyone is like, dude, fuck off. Don't be a dick.
My dick is literally a robot.
Hello. But that's another great thing about they're so creative with some of the cyborgs you see in this movie.
Oh yeah, and I like
you have Alita, you have the big lad. There's a great scene where she goes into this bar that's comprised of what are essentially bounty hunters, and pretty much all of them are cyborgs. But they're not just, this guy's arm is metal, this person's leg is metal. It's like, no, this person, his body's entirely metalled up, but he still has his human face. This dude over here, he's actually mostly still human, but he's got this horde of cyborg dogs that fight for him. Or, cool shit like that.
Yeah, and this actually gets on to the point I was saying about the writing that I was about to say. The one-liners are great!
Oh, they're fucking phenomenal. They're so good. Again, this is a 12s movie, so there's not that much swearing. There's one F-bomb drop in this movie.
Yeah, they get the one.
They use
get
it well.
the one.
But
what a line!
Oh, that's how you use a fucking F-bomb.
I don't want to say the line because
don't
the
dare.
line is better, like, in context.
Yeah, no, I would not.
Because
Dare
it
spoil
said
here.
like, say that this film is about like 2 hours and 5 minutes. It said about like an hour and a half in, and you're like, oh, she meant that.
Oh yeah.
You got fucking wrecked.
If I had one more complaint, I'll be fair to the movie. Because of some of the pacing issues, it does start to feel like it's dragging a little bit at the end. There's also one more scene right at the end before it gets the very just sort of slightly sequel baity scene, which from what I know is very much taken from a big scene in I don't know if it's the manga or the OVA, it's one of them. And it's a weak scene to end on. It just wasn't done that well.
If it's the scene I think you're talking about, the one with the tubes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad, but it could have been.
No, just, you know.
The scenario is really good, but it could have been a bit more.
I almost would have said you should have just left that and saved it for trying again if you get a sequel.
Imagine if that opened the second one.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. That would have been a great way to open the next one.
And then you wouldn't have had the sequel bait line. But basically...
Which I don't mind. Like, I want this to get a sequel.
Oh, I really do as well. I really do. Really as well. Because while I've said, like, the story could be better in the writing could like lead you on a bit better, this is so damn entertaining that I really don't care.
Like, genuinely, I'm potentially going to see this again tomorrow with my sister.
I'd love to
and
go
I
see
have
this
no
again.
complaints of going to see it again.
See, I have a funny feeling that like one day I'm going to be at home and I'm going to be like, you know what, I'm bored. I'm going to go see Alita again.
And for me, honestly, I know it's early in the year and this is not a perfect movie. This could well be a contender for my movie of the year. I enjoyed it that much.
Yeah.
You know?
I wouldn't say it's the Mad Max of this year. But
that
for an entertainment value, it's if Mad Max is like up here, Alita is like just barely below it.
You know, I'm almost willing to say it is for me. I'm almost willing. You know, I'm going to see it again tomorrow. Because part of why I want to see it again, I want to confirm this. I want to confirm how much I enjoyed it. Because you know, some movies you need to see again.
You get swept up in the moment, so you need to kind of...
I feel like I'll like it better on the second viewing because I won't be as a bit lost in the story.
I kind of think so too.
I should say we were in a very noisy cinema with two kids behind it. Two kids were like, "Oh, look, a dog!"
Yeah, so they were getting a bit on my nerves.
Dogs.
And I apologize to you as well, because you were sitting next to me, and I know I tend to riff a movie even when I'm in cinema.
Yeah.
I'm not so loud that like everyone can hear me, but I too tend to be like leaning into a friend of mine who's like, hey, just, you know.
I'm just as bad.
No, I know, like, me and you were just as bad at each other. Dan wasn't doing it much, but I was doing it to him the whole movie.
There were a few times I was like, oh yeah, I don't know much. But there was only one bit that really annoyed me where...
What was it? I called you to miss the character's name.
You whispered something to me, and I missed what some guy's name was, so they kept mentioning it. Like, who the fuck is Hugo? And then only like
that's the main love interest, by the way.
And then literally like half an hour left in the film, they go, Hugo, no, I'm like, that. All right, it's him.
I heard that the love interest was kind of a point of annoyance for some people.
The romance is cute. It could have got a better actor.
For me, it's the weakest story arc of the movie. Is the romance for me?
Yeah, apparently.
And part of it is I think the actor for the romance is a little miscast. And from what I've also heard,
I've looked him up on IMDb. He hasn't really done like a lot of.
He's not a bad actor.
He's not bad, no.
But I think the writing is a bit to blame as well. Because again, from what I've heard of what the character's like, it's more the character's not quite right. He's a very pretty boy sort of character. Pretty boy cool guy in the movie, whereas apparently in the original source material he's actually more of a street rat, but you know, kind of living in squalor kind of thing, which he's supposed to be here, but he never looks it.
No, not really.
And he never really feels
he
it.
looks to be on the
does.
streets,
he does. Like,
he really does.
He looks like his.
And that's not to say everyone looks grimy and disgusting in this movie. It's just there's a distinct style that even some of his friends have that it feels like he doesn't.
Right.
Yeah. One last thing to say about Alita before we go off it. Alita introduces a sport called motorball, and it's fucking great.
Oh, and the fucking scene when she's playing the proper motorball, that was fucking awesome.
Basically, Rob, you know how in like Olympic racing or rollerblading or whatever, you go around in a circle? Yeah. Imagine that, but it's basketball, and also you can die.
Yeah, it's
blood sports.
Yeah, it's basketball, and there are no rules that say you cannot blow your opponent up to get the ball off.
A lot of the time, like, there's a scene where she's playing on the street and just went, oh, like, this is kind of fun, and like she gets tackled, like, oh, he hurt me, and they're like, look, if you were playing this for real, like, you'd be dead. And then at one bit she is playing it, and like one of the guys has like saw blades for hands, and that seems like a bit unfair.
Just to give, I'm even going to drop a minor spoiler here. This is minor, but I just want to set up just how cool it is when we get to see a big game in play, because we know how brutal it's going to be. Because she she gets in line because she's been offered a chance to play for real, like in the big game. So she gets in the line, and then she gets called, like on a device on her, by Dr. Ido. He's going, Alita, you need to get out of there. Why? What's the problem? It's the other players. They've been hired to kill you. Which ones? All of them! And then she just looks around and she basically just decides, I'm gonna fuck them up.
I heard a complaint where like one critic was like, "Oh yeah, there's too much motorball in the movie." There's not enough motorball in this movie.
That's rubbish.
There is literally.
How could you have too much of a good thing?
Even then, it really does not take up that much.
There are 3 scenes of motorball. The one where she plays it on the streets and it's introduced. The time where she plays it and that line happens, and then at the very end where she doesn't even play it, she's just in the stadium.
Yeah, because like the ending zinger is like she's using motorball to work her way up through the ranks essentially. Again, minor. That's a very minor spoiler. That doesn't give away anything.
She keeps playing motorball. That's not really much of a spoiler.
No.
I mean, if it's part of the story and like part of her motivation, it's not like as if it's just kind of pushed in there.
No.
So it's relevant to the story. So it
very
fits
relevant
in.
to the story.
There's a good reason why she plays it.
Yeah, so
exactly.
it's like that you can't really complain that there's too much of it if it's
like
part of the plot.
It's big enough in the plot that like motorball got like its own like spin-off of the manga. There's a motorball.
Oh, it did, didn't it?
There's an entire like series of the manga based on motorball.
I look forward to when someone tries to make a video game of that.
Oh, I'd play that.
Yeah,
I'd play that too.
It's
That'd be awesome.
Mario Strikers, but on rails.
A battle royale motorball game.
That would work.
No, that would work.
That would work.
Just say. Battle royale's big now, so why don't you make it?
Gainville, you can have that, not Activision. You stay away.
Exactly.
I think that's pretty much all we have to say on Alita. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or?
I don't know if we're kind of coming up on our time here.
We are coming up a little bit on time. I mean, I'm going to just one thing very quick before we finish up. One of the games I've tried a bit in the last couple of weeks that got released very suddenly during a Nintendo announcement was Tetris 99.
Oh.
Yeah.
The Tetris Battle Royale game. And, okay, I'm a bit in the minority here. It's a great concept. It's a hilarious concept. I hate this game because I suck at this game.
I don't like it, and it's stupid because I can't play.
I know, I'm being as bitchy as it sounds. It's because the whole way that eliminating other players works is you can target other players, and as you eliminate lines, you send junk to them, and they get stacks that they can't control.
Yeah.
And vice versa, you can get attacked by other players. Just every time I start a round in this game, I feel like I'm getting targeted by 10 people, and I die immediately.
The weak must submit to the strong.
Yeah, and I know I'm in the minority because there's a couple of people also playing this that me and Dan know, and they are fucking kicking ass in this game.
Yeah,
constantly
like,
getting into the top 10.
Every couple of days, they're just like on number 1 again. You're like, what the? Ah!
I can't get past the top 50. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah. I should say I haven't played it because I don't have a Nintendo Switch online. Waiting for it to be worth it before I buy it.
I will say,
I have principles.
It desperately needs a tutorial mode because it doesn't explain to you how the targeting works, and it doesn't explain to you how T-spinning works. Which is actually the way you build up a lot of points. And T-spinning is the idea in Tetris where if you have a gap that you can't just drop a part into, but if you drop a part down slowly and flip at the last second, it'll fit in. That's a T-spin.
Yeah.
And I suck balls at doing that, so that ain't happening. But
that's how you get like L blocks into like awkward places.
It's mostly with T blocks because you can do some like crazy spins with T blocks.
From what I've seen, it's damn near required if you want to do well.
It seems to be at least. So I think the game would like it was launched for free as a complete surprise. So I'm not completely knocking it, and there's more modes coming out. But I would hope that one of those modes is just a tutorial mode, even just to show you the basics of Tetris, because not everyone who gets this is going to understand what Tetris is. I know Tetris is one of the most universally known video games at this point, but even then, you can't assume people know what they're getting into. There should be a tutorial mode, just here's the basic rules of Tetris, here's the rules of targeting other players, here's the rules of T-spinning. There, that's all you need.
So when are they going to start selling skins?
Actually good, different colors of Tetris blocks.
No, different themes for your background music.
That would be cool.
That would see. I bet you any money. But actually, I don't think they will. I think I think Nintendo are just going to enjoy having this as a bit of a fun spotlight to have it in the Battle Royale.
Yeah, it's just a free release that you get with the online, so like you can't really expect them to add like a hell of a lot.
It's definitely a good way to encourage people to pay for the service, because
for
a while I don't think people really like the idea of having to pay for a service that
better than
up until now had been essentially free, which was like the big draw for it.
No, it's better than the NES Online. And as I keep saying, like when they first announced the online in that Direct, and they were like, "Oh, you get to play online with people." I could already do that. You get the voice chat, but only on your phone as an app, which
is terrible.
I could just call someone. And then you get cloud saves, like, oh, okay. Oh, but they don't
work on some games.
They don't work on some games, and they don't stay if your membership goes down. They only stay for a few months after that.
No, a month, isn't it?
A month after they go. And then the last one they just was like a question mark block, and then they were like, we're going to be adding some special exclusive offers. Stay tuned for what that is. Like, this comes out in 2 days! You can't pull this shit. Yeah. What is your special offer? They still haven't said what it is.
The NES collection on it is what annoys me a lot, because they add 2 games a month on this service. Yeah. And it's like, I'm sorry, you adding 2 games a month to a collection of NES games is not the same as Sony adding 2 PS4 games downloadable for free on PlayStation Plus. Yeah. Especially when it's, I'm sorry, I don't have nostalgia for the NES, and frankly, I think a lot of NES games have not aged well.
No, it's like if it was Super Nintendo, then that's
hell yes, if I love it.
If it's the Super Nintendo, I'll get it. N64, even better. GameCube, bless my soul, but it's not going to be.
I'd be fine with. And again, I'm not even nostalgic for the SNES, but I think the SNES has a lot of genuinely fantastic games.
There are a lot of games on the SNES that are meant to be great that I haven't played, like Castlevania 4.
Fuck yeah, Castlevania 4.
I think that's just like the biggest problem Nintendo has, is like compared to other companies where like
they're really nostalgia baby.
But they're also really bad about providing people with said nostalgia. They kind of gate it off awkwardly, and then they don't even completely give it to you before they then give you the next console, and then you have to start again from zero. It's
like
really
the whole
awkward.
Like the whole meme of Pokemon Snap, one of the most requested virtual console games, only coming to the Wii U just as it was about to stop being supported.
Name a Mario game in the past 10 years that didn't have the 8-bit sprite at some point. That's not like. That's even just like, oh, look, do you remember this? It's a Mario. Like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, in Mario Maker, it's a given. You have
Mario
to,
Maker,
but
that's a given. But still. Just regular ones like on the walls
I suppose that's another game that would encourage the whole online thing. Because
my original thing was with the NES Online, or with just Switch Online, I thought the question mark plot was going to be, you get the original Mario Maker ported to Switch, but it's free, but you have to be in the online membership to ever use it.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, I now look back and say, all right, that's probably a bit too much. And if they were making the sequel, then fair enough.
Given what's on it, I still don't think it is. But you know what? They are starting to add more and more. So hopefully, in coming months, we'll start to see more stuff akin to like Tetris 99 to sort of see more reason to sign up.
I just hope the Switch kind of has a longer lifespan than like the last 2 consoles.
I think it will. I think it'll have. Well, like the Wii had a long lifetime.
Yeah, the Wii was like 7 or 8 years, and I think Nintendo said they want the Switch to be 7 or 8 as well.
But here's the thing: the Switch has way more ground to stand on that, because even if it starts to lag behind tech-wise some of the other consoles, the gimmick is enough to keep it going. The
fact it's a portable console and a home console is like. I'm surprised no one has ever tried it before.
And how much they're willing to support indie games. That will keep it alive for years.
Yeah, the Switch has really got me into indie games. I didn't really care about them before, but on the Switch I just love them.
I'm the same. And like I generally like indie games even on PC, but I feel more drawn. Like I first played Hollow Knight on my PC and loved it. Then I got it on my Switch, and I've done so much more on my Switch copy of Hollow Knight than my PC one.
There are some games that just will work better on it, like the Phoenix Wright trilogy, like Ace Attorney, has been announced for the 9th of April on Switch and PS4. I don't know why you'd want like a text-based game where you have to look at very specific details on a PS4 on a telly that's probably a bit far away from you, when you can have it on a Switch in that same way, or you can just take it out. It's right here in front of your face.
Some people like visual novels on big stuff as well, you know.
I know, but like in that kind of game where you have to like examine things.
Well, that's true, because you need to actually look at the scenery and pick out clues and shit like that. Yeah, that's fair. Well, I think that's a good point to leave off for this episode. Before we finish up entirely, is there anything any of us would like to plug? Just be it something we enjoyed watching, or any personal projects we have we'd like to plug?
Well, to be vain with that, yes. I do some articles for headstuff.org. As I mentioned earlier, I have the 10 things I'd like to see in Pokemon Sword and Shield coming out. But that should probably be out as well by the time this is done. If not, it'll be out in like 2 days or so. And you can read some of my other fantastic, brilliant articles while you're there. I have some on my most recent one was on Netflix animated series having mostly female leads that came out last year. So there's Carmen Sandiego, there's Hilda, there's She-Ra. They're all very good. It's good. It's a good article. I'm not going to explain it very well because I'm off the top of my head, and yeah.
All right, good stuff.
Also, follow me on Twitter at DanielTroy95 and say that you listen to the podcast, and that's why you're following me, so I don't get creeped out.
Rob, anything you want to splurge for? Anything at all?
Not particularly.
Follow at DanielTroy95 on Twitter. Say it,
there
Rob.
we go.
Yeah, what he said. Just double it up on the audio.
There we go. And I'm going to be vain as well and just say, if you enjoyed this episode, please continue to follow the podcast.
That'd be nice too.
Yeah. If you're listening to this on YouTube, which for the moment is probably where you're going to be listening to, please like and subscribe to the channel. And once again, if you have any feedback about our current format style, any tips about even improving just editing and things like that, because I am very, very new to this, anything's welcome.
Yeah, even if you don't plan to stay.
Even if you just were intrigued by one episode and like, that's enough for me, but I'll just leave you with a tip, or even just a criticism of why you're not interested in listening to more, that's just as welcome. I want to improve.
Yeah. Even tell us which of us you hate and want to get replaced.
I mean, you could. I'd prefer you didn't, but
it's gonna be me.
I'm used to the online hate. It's probably gonna be me.
I accept the hate.
And I think with that, we'll leave it at that. So, from this episode of a Potentially Playable Podcast, it has been me, Dan, and Rob, and we will see you all next time. Goodbye.
Farewell.
Bye.